I've been in cybersecurity for 30 years and most people are aiming at the wrong jobs. There are 10 roles paying 118K to 650K that nobody talks about. I'll give you the salary, skills, and top companies for each one. Plus, there's one decision most people get wrong that increases any of these salaries by 30 to 50%. I'm Nathan from StationX. I've trained over 500,000 people in cybersecurity. Thousands of them now work in these roles. Halfway through, I'll show you exactly how to get that 30 to 50% increase on salary and stay until the end. There are 2 bonus roles that most people never think about for cybersecurity at all. Number 10, Malware Analyst. Picture this. A new piece of malware is spreading through Fortune 500 companies. While incident response teams, they're scrambling, you're in the lab pulling it apart and figuring out how to stop it. Malware analysts average 118K a year with top salaries hitting 170K plus. That's nearly double the US average household income. In terms of what you'd actually need to learn, think about tools like IDA Pro, Gydra, Cuckoo, Sandbox, and think about certifications like GREM or GCTI. Those can really set you apart. CrowdStrike and FireEye Mandiant pay top dollar, and defense contractors add another 15 to 20% if you've got clearance. I think for a lot of us who like digging into code and hunting down digital threats, this is where the money is. We call this, by the way, a green zone role, meaning it's AI safe. AI generated malware is exploding, which means more need for humans who can pull it apart. But what if you want the same money but without being in the lab? Number 9, penetration tester. This is a job most people imagine when they think cybersecurity. You hack into systems, find the weak spots before the bad guys do, and then hand the company a report that tells them how to fix it. Pen testers average 125K a year, with top earners hitting $200K a year. That's consultancy level money. Toolkit here, Kali Linux, Metasploit, Burp Suite, and more importantly now, custom built AI security agents. These certifications that actually matter: OSCP, BSCP, the Burp stuff, and OSCE3. They're some of the good ones. Now, Rapid7 and Bishop Fox, they pay 150K to 160K plus, and in financial services, add another 20-25%. Banks can't afford the breaches, can they? This is probably the role that gets people most excited about cybersecurity, and the hands-on skills here are in real demand today. This one's what we call a yellow zone job, meaning some of the tasks, especially the junior tasks in this role, are being automated by AI. So if you go deep on creative exploitation and client advisory, you're safe from AI in the penetration tester job. If you're running scans, you're competing against software. AI tools like Node Zero are already running autonomous penetration scans, hundreds of thousands and counting. The pen testers earning top dollar, they're not running scans, they're chaining creative exploits through environments. They're building and using their own custom AI agents, and they're advising chief information security officers face to face. So same title, penetration tester, opposite futures. You do need to be aware of that for pen testing. If you're choosing a career path, and this matters, then check out below jobzonerisk.com. Find the roles or role that you're interested in, and it will tell you how AI and automation will impact it. You want to check if it's a safe role to move into to secure your future. So it's free, and the link's in the description. If you're finding this helpful, hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. Not everyone wants to spend their career breaking into stuff. So what happens when the breach is already underway? That brings us to number 8, incident response specialist. Imagine a hospital is hit by ransomware at 2 in the morning. Patient records are frozen, surgeries delayed. You're the one called in to contain the breach, investigate the attack, and preserve evidence, and maybe often help save lives. Average pay 140k with top salaries around 185k. The key tools here are Encase, FTK Imager, Volatility, and Yara. Certificates like EC Council's Incident Handler, CYSA Plus, and GIAC Incident Handler prove that you can do the job. Mandiant, around 175k. They will offer CrowdStrike services, 170k, Kroll, 160k plus. Healthcare organizations often pay more, sometimes 25% above average, because mistakes here can and do cost lives, unfortunately, and they get huge fines as well. If you're the kind of person who stays calm when everything's on fire, the money here is genuinely good. This is a green zone job, meaning it's safe from AI and automation. It's high stakes judgment under pressure. Now, what if you could stop the breach before it even happened? Number 7, cloud security engineer. A developer accidentally makes an S3 bucket public. Inside 10 million customer records, you're the one who set up the automated guardrails that caught it in seconds and locked it down before it became a headline. Average 155k, ranging up to 210k. In terms of the skill set, you're talking about AWS Security Hub, Azure Sentinel, Terraform, and Prisma Cloud. Certificates like AWS Security Speciality, CCSP, or Azure Security Engineer can open doors. Netflix pays about 200k, Stripe around 195k, Snowflake about 185k. Cloud native companies often pay like 30 to 35% above average, because one mistake can shut down their entire operation. The demand here, to be honest, is kind of ridiculous. Every company needs cloud security, and most can't hire the top people. This is a green zone job. Demand far outstrips supply. But what if instead of protecting the cloud, you built security into the code itself? Now that gets us to number 6, application security engineer. A new feature in the app ships on Friday. By Monday, attackers are already probing it. You're the one who made sure they won't find anything, because you built security into the code before it ever went live. Average salaries around 185k, with top roles hitting 285k. What I see employers asking for here is Veracode, SonarQube, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. Certificates like CSSLP, OSWE, or CKS give you credibility, and potentially the burp certifications. We've also got Palantir. They pay 270k. Google about 265k. Databricks about 255k. Tech companies pay 50% above market rate, because every deployment carries risk. I think this is probably one of the most underrated or underthought about paths in cybersecurity. And if you come from a developer background, and we know what's happening to developers because of AI, then moving into AppSec and DevSecOps is a safe move away from AI and automation. Of course, as I said, it's a green zone job. Humans still need to build the guardrails, but not everyone wants to write code. Some people prefer to advise. That gets us to number 5, security consultant. Most jobs keep you in just one company's system. As a consultant, you solve different challenges every few months, maybe healthcare today, finance tomorrow, startups the next. The average salary is around 185K, with top consultants making 270K. The skill set, it's broad and it depends on the area of consultancy specialization. So certifications are the more generic and in-demand ones. Think CISSP or CISM if it's management, or CRISC if we're talking about risk. The big 4 like Deloitte, PwC, EY, KPMG pay 245K to 260K, up 45% above average. If you're someone who gets bored doing the same thing every day, consultancy is probably the answer. And you really do learn a lot because you see the insides of so many different places. I've done consultancy myself for decades. Green zone job as well. Client trust can't be automated yet. Now, the decision most people get wrong, most people pick a role, get certified and apply to whoever's hiring. But the premiums, where they're really hiring for top money, defense contractors, they add 15 to 20%. Financial services adding 25%. Tech companies paying 50% above market rate. Consultancy firms paying 45% above average. Those aren't random. So it's which industry you choose. Same job, title, same certifications, completely different paycheck. And most people never think about it. I've seen starters, their first cybersecurity job, I've seen people getting quite low salaries, and then I've seen up to 120 and 130K. And of course, they were in one of those big industries, one of those big companies. They've got themselves in the door. In tech, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, senior security roles pay, 200K, 300K. In finance, obviously, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, cybersecurity professionals make 200K, and chief information security officers can clear 400K plus. In healthcare, companies like United Health Group, salaries range from 150K to 300K, especially for roles protecting patient data. Now, in defense and aerospace, you've got Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and some of the highest salaries in the entire field. So 300K at senior and executive levels because of just how important cybersecurity is in there. So when you're planning your career, don't just pick a role, pick the industry. And the top 4 roles take this even further. What about people building it from the ground up? So number 4, AI and machine learning engineer. Every time a major AI model launches, human red teams jailbreak it within hours. You're the person companies hire to break their AI before someone else. I feel so new, they're still writing the job spec as I record this. So salaries all over the place, but 195K with top earners, 285K, and to wherever you might imagine those AI companies. The tools, they're evolving, everything's evolving, but Claude Code, AI agents, LLMs, context engineering, think that stuff. Certificates like CISSP, SEC AI Plus, or AWS machine learning are valuable, But honestly, experience matters more here because the field is so new. Top AI companies pay 40 to 50% above average. I've seen 270K. Anthropic, I've seen 265K. NVIDIA, 240K and more. What I've seen is that people getting into this now are basically writing their own job descriptions. The field is wide open, everything's evolving fast. So this is one of the most extreme dark green zones jobs. So not only is it safe from AI, it's created because of AI. Now, here's where salaries start getting serious. Number 3, enterprise security architect. Your CEO just acquired a company with completely different infrastructure, different compliance requirements and regulations, and a security stack that doesn't talk to yours. Somebody has to make it all work together securely before the integration deadline, and that's you. And I've seen that exact scenario at a pharmacy that I was consulting to. So enterprise security architects, they average about 280K a year in total compensation, with top earners clearing 360K at the highest paying companies. So we're talking 400K all the way to potentially 600K. The skill set here is broad and senior. TOGAF, SABSA, zero trust architecture, and deep knowledge of cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP, certifications like CISSP, CISP, CISM, SABSA's at different levels, are what employers would be looking for. Proofpoint pays $500,000, Cisco 420K, HPE 300K, financial services and defense sit around 200K to 350K depending on the firm. I think what a lot of us underestimate about this role is how much of the enterprise security architect is about people and strategy, not just a deep understanding of technology. You're sitting in rooms with CTOs and CISOs and the board, translating those business risks and requirements into security architecture. It's the role where technical depth meets enterprise-wide influence. So that is a green zone job, enterprise-wide strategy across multiple business units, peak human judgment, so little chance of AI automation there. But what about the legal side of all this? Number 2 is Chief Privacy Officer. A regulator calls, your company has 72 hours to explain how 50 million users' data was handled or is handled. The wrong answer costs millions. You're the executive who makes sure that call ends well every single time. Chief Privacy Officer. The average salary is about 285K, with top pay reaching 470K. The tools here are OpenTrust, TrustArc, and DataGrail, but really it's quite variable. And the certifications that matter, CIPP, CIPT, or CIPM are pretty much the standard. Apple pays 450K plus, Microsoft around 430K plus, Salesforce around 410K. Big tech pays 60% above average because violations destroy brand trust. I think a lot of us overlook privacy as a career path, but at the executive level, it delivers genuine C-suite pay. This is a green zone job. Regulators need a human to hold accountability and for trust. And Number 1, Chief Information Security Officer. Your company just made the front page. A breach exposed 40 million customer records. The board wants answers in an hour. You're the one walking into that room. Chief Information Security Officer, the top of the cybersecurity ladder. Average salary is around 390k, with top compensation packages reaching 650k plus. Some chief information security officers at big tech and finance firms clear $1 million with bonuses and stock. At this level, it's less about specific tools, though GRC platforms like ServiceNow and MetricStream come up a lot. Certifications like CISSP and CISM are expected, and executive leadership experience is what really sets you apart. Goldman Sachs pays 600k plus, JP Morgan 580k, Google about 550k. Banks and big tech pay 70 to 80% above average because cyber risk is business risk. This is obviously the top of the ladder. In my experience, the chief information security officers who do best are the ones who can translate that technical risk into business language. That's the skill that gets the 650k and beyond, and be able to deal with those executives. This is a very dark green zone role, one of the least affected by AI displacement out there. Boards need a human in the room. So that's 10 roles inside cybersecurity, but 2 of the highest paying positions aren't even traditional security jobs. If you're technical but don't want to sit behind a screen all day, these 2 will surprise you. Lawyers specialize in privacy, cybersecurity, incident response, and they can earn 6 figures and up. The average pay is 235k, with top salaries reaching 400k. Big law firms like Latham and Watkins or Kirkland and Ellis pay in the 350k, 400k range. When one lawsuit can cost billions, lawyers who prevent those losses are worth every penny. This is a green zone role. Laws require human judgment. Most technical people overlook this next one, and it is the cybersecurity sales engineer. Technical sales. You combine technical knowledge, right? So you usually have, that's why they're called engineers, that deep technical knowledge, with how businesses communicate, how sales work, explaining security solutions to executives. Base salaries average 185k, but sales is compensation. So with compensations, total pay ranges 350k, top performance clear 500k. We have people on our master's program at top firms, $500,000 with the commission. So Palo Alto Networks pays about 320k OTE, CrowdStrike around 300k, and Zscaler about 280k, because they've got to get their stuff sold and they need someone in the room who's both technical and can do the sales. I think this is probably the most overlooked role, the sales role, and is, I would say, easier to get into than a lot of the other roles, because people will give you a try, and if you don't succeed in making the sales, then you're out. So if you're technical but also love working with people, and the earning potential is definitely hard to beat there. Now, this is a green zone role at that high executive level. So yeah, that's 10 or 12 high-paying cybersecurity roles. I'd genuinely love to know which of these excite you the most. Drop a comment below, that would be great. And one more thing, not every cybersecurity job is in those green zones. There are red zone role jobs that will be displaced by AI, and most people, they really have no idea what's coming. So we've scored all cybersecurity roles, and in fact, all roles using job market data, academic research through this complex methodology. Also looking at just real world evidence instead of just crunching numbers. So go to jobzonerisk.com. It's totally free, and find roles that you're interested in and see exactly where they stand when it comes to AI and automation. You don't want to get into a new job that's in the red zone or even perhaps the yellow zone. So it's completely free. Link in the description. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm Nathan from StationX, and I hope this was helpful. And if it was helpful, hit a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.